Imagine a guitar player in their early 20s, late teens maybe, getting involved in some worship teams. Maybe you're working with some teams through a college, or you're getting just involved in your local worship team at your church. And, it's going fine. You show up to midweek rehearsals, you follow the chord charts, you play the songs, and then you come back, show up on Sunday, play them again, and it's good. But then one week, you show up to that midweek rehearsal and you see a chart that has a song title you've never heard of before. And then you're left with a couple of options. You can wing it and hope you get something close to right, or you can just say, yeah, I have no idea what this song is. Or both. Pretty much you're going to be equally embarrassed no matter what you do in that circumstance. Now, as worship musicians, that might sound pretty familiar to you. I know it does to me. Especially when I was first getting involved in the worship teams in my area, I would do that. I would just show up and I would play the songs. Sometimes I wouldn't even check the planning center or anything like that to know what we were even singing, let alone listen to the songs. And so I would show up, I would play the chord charts, and then sometimes I would be like, yikes, I have no idea how this song is supposed to sound. I remember one in specific, this actually wasn't my story, it was a friend of mine, but we showed up to a rehearsal, he was our bass player, and he had no idea what we were playing, and as I'm walking in, I'm like, yeah, we're doing this really cool song I'm excited for. It's got some really cool, bass intro lines. And he goes, oh, it does? And we get inside and go start rehearsing, and he has no idea what he's doing because he hadn't listened to it. It's happened time and time again, and will continue to happen, unfortunately, until the world ends. Maybe we're just confident in our ability to play our instrument off of a chord chart and make the song sound fine. Maybe we think, oh, I know all the music that our church does, I'll just show up and play it like I usually do. Or maybe we're just busy. For most people, including myself, being a worship musician isn't like my job or my primary time filler. It's something that I do because I love it, and I enjoy spending time on it, but I've got a full-time job like many other worship musicians do. Sometimes we're just busy and haven't really had the time to look it over. But whatever it is, we gotta do something about it. The more I started to get involved, the more this started happening, especially when I first started playing lead guitar. Coming from a background of being a rhythm, acoustic player for about 9 years leading up to this point, moving over to electric, I didn't really know what to do with myself, and so I just kind of showed up like I normally did and hoped for the best. I walked into rehearsal with my $200 Epiphone Les Paul Special 2 that I got when I was 16, plugged into my worship pastor's Helix, and then hoped to find the right scale. And believe it or not, that strategy actually didn't work out super well for me. It wasn't until about 6 months into me being our lead player that I really started to realize, okay, I've got to start putting a good amount of effort into this and really trying. Because there's only so much you can do with playing 2 or 3 notes and nothing else for each song. And so I started to use the resources that my worship leader was giving me and any others that I could find online. I started spending a bunch of time with my instrument. I started, listening through the songs a few times. I started using the rehearsal tracks. I started really taking time to learn these songs, and sometimes that looked like learning the exact parts from a tutorial or from hearing it, or sometimes it's just learning those specific dedicated lead lines and then kind of playing my way through the rest of it. But I really developed my skill to be my own guitar player by learning a lot of those parts that I needed to learn for those other things. I learned, these different scale shapes and these different chord shapes from learning those parts for those songs, which has led me to be able to use those and apply them wherever, to whatever song I want to play, regardless of what genre I'm in at the moment. And all of that happened because I just started taking more time to practice. If your worship leader is anything like mine, he's probably getting on your case about making sure you're familiar with the music and know your parts so that we can make it sound good as soon as we get to the rehearsal. The way we operate our rehearsals and the way I've been in a lot of other rehearsals is you need to know the music before you even step into the room so that we can all bring those parts that we know well together to make the song sound great together. Everyone's got to know what they're doing so that they can do it right together. And I think that's an awesome way to do it. It puts responsibility on the musicians rather than just the leader to know our parts and to bring it all together, but it also forces us to spend time with the music outside of just the midweek rehearsal and the Sunday morning, so that we really get a feel for what we're doing rather than just showing up and singing the song like we normally would. We really have to know the music. And so this is where I think we have to talk about practicing more. For me, it really wasn't until I started spending multiple hours with our sets each week that I really got comfortable playing my instrument in the worship context. And I'm not saying everyone should spend multiple hours looking over the music for a Sunday morning, but if there's a new song, spend that time with it. Even songs that you've been doing for a long time, spend some time with it to really know the song and know your instrument's part, or your vocal part, even if you're a vocalist, really well, so that you can bring that into your rehearsal, into your Sunday morning, and make that sound awesome with the rest of your worship band. I am of the mindset that God deserves our absolute best, and the best that we can possibly give him can only be given to him if we're putting the effort into practice. God created us, he loves us, and he wants what's best for us. And in return, the least we can do is give our best with the gifts that he gave us back to him. Let me just tell you a little bit about what practice looks like for me. I get my planning center notification. Please respond to your planning center notifications. Your worship leader is waiting. But I start looking through the week's set list, see what songs are on there, if it's all stuff I really know, or if there's some new stuff on there, and then I go from there. If it's stuff I know, I'll run it. I'll make sure, okay, I know those parts, or if it's something I really, really know, maybe I will just feel really wild and I'll show up and play it like I normally would. But usually, if it's stuff that I know, I'll at least run it once at home with my gear, and then if there's a new song on there, that's what really gets the focus and the time. I remember I was looking at Goodbye Yesterday by Elevation Rhythm for some of our youth services, and I really spent, just about an hour and a half, 2 hours with that song, really focused on learning the parts for it. I knew the rest of our set list, which was only another song or two, and so I really dedicated the time to this one that I had never played before, so that it would be good and ready to go when I got to the rehearsal and the service. So as soon as I get my planning center notification, I go look at that, see, okay, here's what I know I need to work on, here's what I can just run, here's what's going to be good to go already because I've played it so many times. So look at the songs that way, and then base your preparation off of that. And then just spend even an hour looking over the music and working on the music with your instrument. If you're a guitarist, listen to those lead lines, really focus in on that part in the recording. Or if your worship leader gives you rehearsal tracks, use those. Those are such an awesome tool. I know they have been for me when it comes to learning parts, because I can really isolate the part that I need to be playing and hear it in my ears. All this to say, not only will your worship leader really appreciate it if you practice more, but your band is going to be better overall. Watching all of our musicians in my church, including myself, grow in the last couple years has been really awesome to see, and I think a lot of it is because we've all started spending more time with the music outside of our rehearsals, because that's kind of an expectation that our worship leader has put in place for us, and I love that. That is one of my favorite things. Know the music before you ever get with the rest of your band. It's been a huge step in our team's growth in the last couple of years especially. I hope that it can be the same for you. So do your worship leader a favor, learn your music ahead of time, practice more. We all need to be practicing more so that we can give God the best that he deserves. I just want to say thanks to all of you guys who have been watching my channel. We're getting really close to that 100 subscriber mark, which for the short amount of time that I've been running this channel makes me really happy. I'm super excited about that. So thank you so much for watching these videos, for subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't yet, I would really love it if you would hit the subscribe button down below and leave a comment with your thoughts on, practice routines or anything else that you want to talk about down in the comments below. And lastly, if you are willing to share this video, that would be super awesome. I know it's been a couple weeks since I had a full studio video, and by studio I mean I'm in my bedroom, but you didn't hear that from me. It's been a little bit since I, filmed a formal video like this a couple weeks, so thanks again for coming back in and watching the video. And I wanted to shake it up a little bit. This is a little less guitar focused and kind of more broadly about being a worship musician. So if you'd like to see some more content like this, let me know down in the comments below. So thanks one more time for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.